Hello fellow Resto Shamans. Welcome to my guide on beginner Resto Shaman PvP. This guide will focus on spell priority, CC, and offensive abilities and when to use them. I will be creating many other videos that are more in-depth on individual things, and one solely on totems because totems can be a hassle to completely understand. The first thing we will be overviewing is a PvP Resto Shaman spell priority. As a shaman, you have many abilities that will benefit your next heal, and what we want to do is lump them all together to cast a huge healing surge. The spells that benefit your next heal are Earth Living Weapon, which gives you increased spell healing as well as a chance to grant a hot on your target. The greatest benefit from Earth Living Weapon is actually not from the buff, it's the trigger you get from Unleash Element. Unleash Element's on a 15-second cooldown, and it will increase the shaman's next direct heal or healing rain by 30%, and the next heal received by the person who is impacted by the Unleash Element will be 50% more effective. Riptide grants Tidal Waves, which decreases the cast time on your next healing or greater wave by 30% and increases crit chance on your next healing surge by 30%. Tidal Wave stacks 2 times with every Riptide. Earth Shield increases the shaman's healing on the Earth Shielded target by 20%. So based on these skills, our spell priority for when our target is taking mass amounts of damage will be Earth Shield for a 20% heal bonus, Riptide to increase the crit chance on my next healing surge by 30%, Unleash Elements to give a 50% more effective heal, and finally Healing Surge. Keep in mind this cast is on a 15-second cooldown due to Unleash Element, but it is most likely going to be a full heal on your target. I will constantly see this spell hit for a nearly 250,000 heal. When Unleash Elements is on cooldown, and even when it's not, healing is very situational. You don't want to overcommit to healing one player and let another one die, but you also don't want to be spam healing the whole fight until you run out of mana and everyone dies. Some things that I personally do in healing, damaging, and all-around control of fight include: I try to keep Healing Stream Totem down. The mana cost is pretty small, and it heals the nearest target for a lot more than you expect, which is great because all it costs is about 14k mana and 1 global cooldown. Remember that totems are your friends, and if you want to learn more about totems, keep an eye out for my Resto Shaman Totem Guide. Healing waves are very low mana, and if your target is at about 75%, I will use a healing wave on them. Try to keep track of enemy cooldowns and always be prepared for burst damage. Greater healing waves are a little bit more mana intensive, but I will cast a greater if my target is sitting at about 60 to 70%. Remember, this is not a set in stone guideline. This is just my way of healing, and you will create your own. But one thing I always stress is to be prepared for burst, and be ready to stop casting a greater healing wave so you can hit them with a super healing surge, as we talked about earlier. To teach you how to use your CC, I'm going to be talking very situationally. I'm going to use my comp of an Arms Warrior and Resto Shaman, as well as a mirror comp of another Arms Warrior and Resto Shaman, to explain and give examples. When purging, it's more than just a purge. Purging is unseen healing as well as damage. Remember that whatever you purge from your enemy is less damage done to you and less healing done to them. Do not be afraid to purge, but try to not get caught spam purging while your warrior is eating the dirt. Timing is practice, so hit those BGs to get the hang of it. An example of a beneficial purge will include when my warrior blows his one-shot macro and is about to do a lot of damage. I do not want to waste that damage, so I can purge off shields, I can purge off hots, I can purge off any damage reduction, and he can go wild on a priest, for example. The hots, shields, and damage that you do remove are more damage for your warrior, but it also might increase his ego, as I've seen with mine. Silly warriors. Wind shears work the same way as a purge. The hots, shields, and damage that you do remove are more damage for your warrior, but it also might increase his ego, as I've seen with mine. Silly warriors. Wind shears work the same way as a purge. If you're running 2s against a healer and a DPS, a wind shear on a mage, for example, will stop damage almost completely to your team and give you 3 seconds to get caught up. Hexing does not always need to be part of a CC chain. On a 45-second cooldown, you can use it fairly willingly. If you need a bit of time to get caught up on heals, hex a DPS, and it should not be a problem. A good example of a beneficial hex when my warrior is destroying a healer and the healer manages to get some distance. If my warrior's charge is on cooldown, a hex will stop that healer from healing to full and could possibly even end the fight for us. If you can wait for his trinket to be down before you hit him with a hex, your warrior can catch up, charge will come off cooldown, he can be doing damage, and if anything happens where the priest, say, gets away from him again, the charge is up and the fight is normally over. Remember, healing is all about how comfortable you are with surviving. If you are comfortable with dropping to 40% health, do it, and provide useful CC and damage to the opposition. If you find that 80% health is too little, keep everyone full and provide CC when you can. Healing is a personal preference. It's all about what you're comfortable with, what you want to do, and what you feel like you can do. Remember that burst is always around the corner, and try to practice keeping track of enemy cooldowns. Keeping track of enemy cooldowns can help you know when you need to blow yours. Have fun, good luck, and stay tuned for my complete totems guide.